how to free motion quilting feathers in 5 different ways, styles, and shapes. If you're a beginner or an advanced quilter, you have to see these videos because we have hot tips for you. Hi Quilter! Welcome to Orbital Quilting. I'm Aline.
And I'm Natasha.
And we are just starting right now with the feathers. So let's jump right away into this. And we are practicing on our orbital board. So you can actually see the difference between practice and understanding the design and actually stitching that. And it's super helpful for you to do that as well. So you have proper training before the championship.
Yes. Okay.
Which is always great.
Yeah. So the first thing to talk about feathers is the feather itself, which means this beautiful singular drop.
Kind of a plume.
Yeah, and you can realize that it has this kind of an arc movement here because we're not doing this. That will be straightish lines here on the base.
It's like if you're doing a drop and you're a child, you do like this. So this is like a drop falling from the skies, right?
And when skies, there's just one sky.
No, the skies is something that we can say.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very odd.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you will make dropping like raining like this. But the drops for feathers are way more curvy, so it's like there's a wind and it's pushing that that drop to one side, and then we'll make it in a space so it's upside down.
Yes. Okay, so this is the first thing for you to make your feathers look better, is to make that kind of movement. And then we're going to start with this thin border here, and with some very easy way to do this feather, even for beginners. And notice that we have 5 ways of free motion quilting feathers today, and for all of them we're going to avoid thread buildup. This is super important.
And backtracking.
Yeah, just when the feather itself requires
it, but not
as a path
through the spine.
Yeah.
People will see. Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to start here, and I'm going to make then one feather, but I'm not going to touch the point just like I did here. I just touched this point, but for this border, I will not touch it.
We'll move as if you would.
Yeah.
As if like the intention is going to the very same spot that you started that one feather. But what happens is that the spine gets in the way.
Yes.
So even if it's just like 1/8 of space between where you started and where you ended, the spine will get in the way.
Yeah. And then we're going to make then a little bit of further from each other. So we're just starting this. So we're going to make another one like this. And of course, the less space between them, the more traditional they will look.
And cohesive also. And you will notice that this is a very narrow, very skinny border. So this border is maybe 1 inch, a little bigger than 1 inch. And this is very useful when you're trying to understand the feather, because it's easy for people to get loose. So if you're practicing a border that, let's say, has 4 inches, and you do a spine, and you will try to, we are doing the other type, okay. And you try to do this feather. This is pretty common. So your feathers start to get like lateral on your...
Like a horizontal.
Horizontal on your distribution because you have a lot of space, and you are starting to understand what you have to do. So if you have a very teeny tiny space to put that borders, I will do this here, then I can erase it. You will tend to go up because there's actually nowhere else to go. And that is awesome because this is the shape that we want for feathers. We want the starting point of this drop to not be at the same level. So when you do those feathers like this, your starting point is very near to this point right here, right? But when we have like upside vertical feathers, we have them in this kind of position. And of course, they will not always be like that or that, but we are aiming for this situation.
Yeah. So what we're going to have here in the corner is going to be a really simple corner that is just going to make the turn here. So just gonna make a bigger, sometimes it could be a bigger feather to fit this corner, and then this first one may be kind of wonky, but then soon enough you start to make them in this diagonal way.
Yeah.
So of course it's so important that you're here because then you can practice that many times.
And that's the difference between going straight to the machine and having a proper training, proper practice that is not stitching, because then your brain can learn the right positioning and the right scale for what you are trying to do. And then you get to actually do what you want to do and not just something that you're, you know, it's better. It's awesome. And if you are liking this video, you have to wait until the 5 feathers. But you can also start commenting and subscribing so we can know that you've liked this tutorial. Okay. All right, let's get to the machine.
Let's go to the machine, yeah.
Woo-hoo. So I'm starting this first feather like kind of horizontally. But now I am already making them very vertically, and I should stay as this as I move forward. So when you get to this natural point, you can stop to reposition yourself. And look how this is looking amazing already. So take your time. You don't have to rush. And especially, you don't have to touch or backtrack anything. But the closer you are able to quilt these little spaces between the feathers, the better your feather will look. So I don't recall if we are already mentioned in this video, but we have a gift for you in the link in the description below. And that is a free workshop for custom quilting, and you can use that knowledge on a sit-down machine just like we are doing here, or along our machine. So if you want to learn how we do continuous custom quilting throughout the whole quilt, showing it on the block and how to go to the border and etc., then you just have to grab that gift for you in the description. So you can see that I'm not worrying about my my corner. I'm not even seeing it from where I am here. And that's okay, because
this would be just catastrophization if you were. You're far away from the corner and you're thinking about it. This is catastrophization.
And in this type of feather that we are doing here, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because we just keep going until we'll have no more space. So here it is for me. I've got that last corner and I am turning my quilt because this is easier for me, but you can do this little feather here on the other position as well. But sometimes it's easier, at some point it's easier if you
turn your quilt.
Yeah, and make this vertically so you can practice your feathers in these.
Yeah, if you're doing feathers for the first few times, it is a good thing to turn your quilt, because then you will actually, get the what's the expression for this?
The mojo.
Well, not, but yes.
The hang.
The hang, yeah, that's it. You get the hang of the feather itself, and then you can evolve and develop your skills by not turning it. But that would be a second part of that. First thing, you need to actually get the hang of the feather, and then you move forward.
Yeah, so if you're on a long arm, that will be true as well. So when you are doing this quilt, you can have a piecing that you can do the borders like one direction at a time. And if you are on a sit down or a long arm machine, the rule stays the same. Very close echoing here, and no need for hush. For rush. Rush, not hush.
Never, never rush. When you're doing quilting, free motion quilting, always follow your pace.
And you can see here that my feathers are very vertical. And that's what makes these type of feathers pretty. Because they fit. And because we want to aim for this kind of look, this narrow border is actually a very good trick to kind of help yourself to be very vertical, because there's no space. Anyway, so I just ran out of thread.
Yeah.
I would like have two more feathers here, so okay, we can move to the next one.